Hey everybody, welcome to Read Weens, where Joe has a napkin. We're talking today about Worm, arcs 1 through 5, out of fucking 30.
You're welcome.
Yeah. But, I didn't read it. None of us read it.
We were supposed to read?
Instead, I just looked at earthworms all day long for a month.
I just played Earthworm Jim.
I was just like, Earthworm Jim.
I just played Worms on my PC.
Okay.
But yeah, Worm.
Yeah, Worm.
So, it is a...
Wait. Thomas read a bunch of other stuff this month.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. He read the Quran.
I read the newest chapters of One Piece as they came out. I read the new chapter of JoJolian, which kind of made me hate the part.
The new chapter of what?
JoJolian. JoJo Part 8.
Yeah.
It's going in some weird directions.
Is that new JoJo series out yet?
Huh?
The spin-off one?
Yeah, the Rohan.
I mean,
Netflix one.
that had been out, they basically just put it in a collection because they were released on, Japanese Blu-rays. But, yeah, they dubbed it. I don't know who they have voicing Rohan, because I know in the Diamond is Unbreakable dub, Vic Mignogna. But they had recorded it before...
Shit, Mignogna.
Before all of the Vic hit the fan. So, yeah, I don't know who they have voicing him in that new dub. Not that I'd really care anyway, because I like Rohan's Japanese voice actor. And I think JoJo's is
maybe they have the kid that
sub over dub series for sure.
Maybe they have the kid that made the Chug Jug song.
Oh my god. Number 1 victory royale. Yeah, Fortnite. We're about to get down. Get down.
10 kills on the board right now.
Just like that tomato town.
My friend just got down.
Never mind him. Never headed southbound.
But anyway, today's story is about a girl who eats worms, 10 of them to be exact, and she learns how to deep fry them.
So a lot of good recipes I learned from reading this. But no, so it is a web novel series that started in 2013?
2011.
2011. It finished in November of 2013. Fact checking. Yeah, finished in November of 2013. It is a superhero story. I've heard it classified as a deconstruction, but I think we're a little too early in the story to know for sure. Mm-hmm. It centers around the main character, a high school girl named Taylor, who has the unique power to be able to control bugs.
Or anything that has...
Smooth brain.
Smooth brain, yeah.
So
crabs.
So like me. Yeah, and it's kind of her story. It kind of starts off with us just getting a basic glimpse of Taylor's life. She has a single parent. Her dad, her mom tragically passed, which I really, it didn't quite click to me until, I think yesterday. I'm we've read a lot of stories with just single parents. All of our stories have had single parents that we've read on Read Weens. Bleach.
Classic.
Both of John Darnielle's books, and then this. But the story starts off...
Wolf and White Van didn't have single parent. They were both around.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm a liar, apparently.
Most of it.
We are a very solid majority for single parents.
Good. It's the only way to...
It's the only way to live. But anyway, so we kind of get a glimpse of Taylor's life. Not very good. She's bullied mercilessly.
She's a loser.
She's a big old loser. And she gets bullied by the preps at school.
By her ex-best friend.
One of them, they used to be best friends.
They used to be best
friends. And now
friends.
they're mortal enemies.
Emma, that fucking bitch.
Emma is a terrible person, but...
Until it turns out that she's a superhero. Something's gonna happen.
Guarantee it. But, and... I almost died of my own air. Ugh. Well, that was fun. But yeah. Yeah, it's
So
about
we-
that.
So we read a sixth of the story. Well, not really, because as it progresses, each
gets longer.
arc gets longer and longer. In the most basic numbers, we've read a sixth of the arcs.
Yeah, basically the point at which we're at, she joins this like kind of up and coming group of villains under the delusion that she's basically being a deep spy, even though it seems like at this point
She's
very comfortable there.
Yeah.
But based off the clues that are being dropped now, like little tidbits here and there, it seems like obviously this dynamic, this friendship, this bond that she has with this group of people won't last. At least that seems to be what they're inching towards with, like in Arc 5, she has like a brief interaction with, I think Sunfire is the name of the other villain that she was talking to, who she was kind of asking about her villain life, and she's basically like, we don't get along anymore, we're just always constantly having to move, which has caused a lot of stress on the friendship, on the dynamic. So it seems like it's going that way, but she's got, basically her group is comprised of, there's this guy named Brian.
He's named Gru.
Yeah, I was like, this has to be related to Despicable Me. They have to be from around the same like time period. This was being published.
Despicable Me I thought Despicable Me was like 2013.
I'm pretty sure
the first one
was
2011 or something.
maybe.
Oh, my god.
But why would you name a character? I think it was. I don't know.
But anyway, yeah, so there's Brian, who is Gru. Basically, he's got powers of darkness. He's got, like, dark powers.
He's the dark guy.
He can shoot out dark. He embodies darkness, and he shoots dark out.
Kind of like that Raven from My Hero, whose name I can't remember.
Oh, yeah. Forgle.
Seeming much more powerful.
Yeah. And then there is Alec, who goes by the name Regent.
That's like the only good name out of any of them. Like, Regent is a good name. Everyone else is just like,
he
grew.
He has the power that he like tricks people's nervous systems.
Yeah, he hits their synapses or something.
Yeah.
And I don't know. As we got through it, it was.
The producer is off screen trying to kill a dog right now.
As we got through it, it seemed like it's hinting that his power is probably much more strong than he's been like using.
Yeah.
He's pretty lazy though. He doesn't really fucking do anything. Classic.
And then there's kind of like the sort of ish mastermind of the group.
The brains, the operation. Lisa / Tattletale. Classic name. She is extremely intuitive, pretty much. Like, her power is supreme intuition. So, like, she can just interact with something and just kind of know.
Yeah, the way she explained it is, like, she kind of, like, sees point A and point C, but may not know point B.
But just automatically.
But her power just lets her connect those dots. And then there's the fucking wild card of the group, basically.
Which is Bitch.
Or
the
Rachel.
Media calls her, I think, Hellhound.
Yeah.
But she's like, don't call me that! My name's Bitch!
Yeah.
She's super antisocial, except for her dogs, which that's her power. She can, like, transform her dogs
into like, giant mutant dogs.
Yeah, basically. The way that they describe it is, like, imagine, like, sausage that's like in the skin, like, and it breaks
out. Weird way. Like, imagine
I got it though.
Imagine watching Son of the Mask, and when the dog puts on the mask and he goes, that's all I saw anytime I was reading.
But up to the point we've read now, it's been a lot of pieces setting up, us being introduced to the group. They're called the Undersiders. Kind of knowing who, like, the major players are, the factions, kind of how the world is set up. Because the way it works is, like, superhumans were a relatively recent addition to humanity.
80s.
Yeah, 80s, and this is set in, I think, 80s. Relatively modern day.
Like,
so like
2010.
2010 era. So, like, pretty early on. Yeah. So, but a lot has been done to, like, kind of incorporate that in. But there's still, like, you have, like, the good capes or the bad capes, because they just call them capes instead of superheroes.
Superhumans are called parahumans or capes. Like, parahumans is, like, the technical term, and slang is like, yo, you a cape?
You can't say it with the hard E.
Cap?
No cap.
No cap.
And a couple of adventures regarding the Undersiders. Really, only 2 major operations is what we covered. But a lot of it has been establishing, basically. My God, what is he doing? You can't just will fries out of nowhere.
That's his parahuman.
Is that your parahuman ability?
That's my metamorphosis.
Oh.
Oh yeah, and Taylor, our main character, her name is Skidder.
Yeah. For a while it was Bug, but then
I kind of preferred Bug, honestly.
I liked Bug, but I think Skidder is probably better. I don't know.
Who gave the name Gru?
We need to fire that man.
I hope we get a deeper Gru origin story where we find out the source of his name.
Yeah.
Like, even just Shadow would have worked.
No, because then I would only think the Hedgehog.
That would have been funnier than thinking of the guy from Despicable Me.
That's fair.
Shadow Gru. It's like the dark version of Gru from Despicable Me.
But that's kind of the general overview.
Yeah, for the most part. The big thing I feel like we left out is the what is it? The ABB?
Yeah, so that's
the Asian bad boys.
So in the fictional city of Brockton
Bay, there's a bunch of supervillain.
Yeah, there's a bunch of like supervillain cartel style organizations. There's 2 major ones. There's ABB, the Asian bad boys, and then
Empire 88.
Empire 88,
which is the white supremacist.
They are
faction.
just straight up white supremacists. I kind of dug the factions for the most part. Not for stupid... What?
That's Gru.
That's Gru. From Despicable Me. Thank you, producer. I don't know. I kind of like the general feel of the factions. I think that they were kind of crazy enough, but also grounded enough.
Yeah.
The further it went on, I don't know. It felt like it worked enough for me.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. There's a... Fault Line, I think is her name.
Yeah.
She has a mercenary corps.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy named Coyle who has his own team. There's a bunch of different teams. There's
the Travelers.
The Travelers that show up at the end of
Part
5? Yeah. I read a little bit more than these 2 jokers, so I'm trying to remember what the fuck happened in Part 5.
Part 5 is the one where Bitch and Skidder have their connecting moment, and then she's like, "Does Bitch have dog brain?" And then they're like, "Yeah, Bitch has dog brain."
She has dog brain.
What was the last big mission they did?
They fought against Lonergan.
Oh fuck! Jesus, we should have read 6. No.
Oh. Time to pause the podcast and read through 6.
We're all just kidding. Yeah. So
that was the last major thing. Okay. Was the whole refight with Lung.
Okay. I will say that I really like the power set in this. A lot of the power sets are at least interesting enough for me.
Yeah.
Some of them are just a little wonky. Like, it's hard to wrap your brain around it.
Yeah.
When just reading, I'm like, I don't understand what you're describing.
What's the fucking Labyrinth?
Labyrinth, yeah.
That was a bit hard, because there was also, there
are a few people that like that.
Yeah.
Labyrinth, and there's one named...
I fucking forget, but it was during the bank
I think she's
heist.
on the wards.
Yeah.
Or something. There are also a bunch of
quote-unquote good capes.
Yeah, the biggest is the Protectorate, which is like a government-owned superhero team. The biggest guy that's like really known as Arms Master in Brockton Bay. Mm-hmm. He is what you consider a tinker class.
Well, that's the assumption, was that he's tinker.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I guess we don't know what he is.
Yeah. There's like specific classification. We're kind of all over the place. Good. There's a
guy with that flying skateboard. Yeah. His name's Kid Win.
Kid Win. Clock Stopper.
Yep, which is just...
No, Clock Blocker,
which is just straight up a JoJo stand.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is kind of funny. JoJo's references and everything.
There's... Who was... I think it was Gallant that they fought at the... Is that his name? He was the one that was like... He wasn't invincible, but his body was just like...
Oh, yeah.
Extremely good at handling any
was that Aegis?
What? Aegis?
Yeah. He was also during the bank heist.
Yeah, I think it might have been Aegis.
I'll just check.
At least I don't think it was Gallant.
I don't think so.
I know what you're talking about. The one that Bitch was primarily fighting. Like they swapped costumes with Clock Blocker, right?
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, that's the one you're talking about.
Maybe.
I don't know. During the bank robbery.
No, I largely agree, but I'm also like a big sucker for like superhuman society type things where there's a lot of like people with crazy powers and figuring out how they work. Because like my lead-in for Worm was I had a buddy tell me, he was like, okay, so the main character controls bugs and they become the most powerful person on the planet. And I'm like, how the hell does that happen? And like there are definite seeds with that. Throughout the story, there are usually at the end of the parts there are interludes, which are just like shorter, small stories, either centering around one of our main characters or surrounding world-building pieces. And the latest one was at the end of 5 was about
Gregor the Snail.
Gregor the Snail, and was that
classic?
Yeah. And what's her face? I literally just read it today, and I blanked.
Is the character we were just talking
Fault
about.
Line.
Fault Line. Yeah.
And her just trying to like surpass her limits because there's a theory in the world called the Manton effect, where generally speaking, people with powers can't control other living things with powers.
They can't control organic material.
Yeah.
Pretty much. And besides for like a couple key fighters. And she's just like, I'm gonna force myself to surpass the Manton.
Yeah, so I mean there are a lot of like good seeds for like things that are just personally like my jam, like figuring out like how to use powers in like more creative ways, interesting type matchups and fights, just creating all kinds of crazy dynamics, like specifically with like already even with like Taylor, there have been like some really interesting like applications and like combinations for how like other people's powers have affected her bugs. Like during the bank heist, there was Clock Blocker, who like she like tried to put bugs on him, but he had to like dodge the bugs otherwise because
everything he touches like freezes
just freezes
for a period between like 10 seconds and like 2 minutes. So she started flying them into his mouth.
And he's just like trying to avoid all of it, otherwise he'll be like just caught in the air surrounded by bugs, or like with fucking no, it wasn't Bakuda, it was Oni Lee.
Yeah, that was interesting.
That was really cool. So Oni Lee is the like high-ranking official in the ABB, and his power was he can teleport and leave like an animate copy of him behind.
That stays there for like 5 seconds or so.
And Taylor figured out, I was like, wait a minute, my bugs are blinking in and out of existence. I can like actually track him, and that's
because whenever he teleported, he was taking everything around him pretty much.
And so they're like. It's a lot of good foundation, but my God, the like climb to get to that foundation, the first few parts were rough, very, very rough for me.
I honestly, the first part until like around the point where she fought one, I was kind of having a hard time getting into it. But from that point on, I was like, not bad.
The first fight with Long?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
I thought, like, I didn't think it was, like, stellar or anything. I definitely thought it got better as it went.
Yeah, no, it got drastically better.
But, yeah, like, I didn't have a big beef with those, like, early parts as much as you guys seem to.
No, I also didn't have a big beef. I just thought, like, I think that there's a substantial quality increase in the dialogue in this series. I think that there's not even a ton of dialogue in the first part. A lot of it is just self-narration, so I think it's fine. I think that 2 and 3, those arcs, have some decently bad dialogue, but like 4, 5, and then 6 and 7 so far have been pretty good. Like it's a substantial jump from 4 to 5 for me, but I didn't like hate any of it. I was fine with it. It wasn't hard to get through for me. It was just some of the time I'd read some dialogue and then I'd have to roll my eyes.
Yeah, I think that was probably it for me, because when I was reading through it, I was very much trying to like stay a bit more bigger picture, not focus on a lot of the smaller things. It wasn't even like issues with, I think, the storytelling. I think it was just the dialogue, where it was awful, and like I felt like you and me joked about this earlier. You were like, "Oh, they're just describing the characters as hot or not."
Yeah,
basically.
that's one big issue early on. Is it's just like there's no descriptors for anyone in the series except are they hot? And I'm just like, I don't.
I feel like
I don't know what that means.
Mean, given the kind of like what it was stemming from in that early section of the book, I can kind of get that, because obviously this girl's very vain. She's bullied because of her physical appearance and by girls who are much better looking than her. So that's probably like all her fucking mindset at that point, leading into the supervillain life, is all about. Mm-hmm. It's all she knows how to process.
What's the fucking teacher's name? Mr.
G.
Mr. G? Fuck Mr. G.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Fuck the school.
Fuck the school, but fuck that guy in particular. Holy shit. So there was a point where, like, Taylor's in class and her teacher is, like, pulling her aside. Is like, hey, is, like, everything okay? Like, we can go talk to the principal if you want to. And she's like, I can't. I gotta handle this on my own. She leaves the class.
She doesn't even say that. Yeah. She just says, like, I don't think you're going to get anything done.
Yeah.
Like,
she Grew. But she, like, shuts him out. She goes outside, immediately gets, like, fucking cornered and just, like, brutally harassed. He, like, walks out the classroom, sees her, and then just continues on.
He makes a sad face and walks away.
And holy shit, I was so hard on team fuck that dude in particular. Holy shit. That made me, like, legitimately angry. I'm like, I hate this guy.
I'm glad the idea of fucking that dude made you hard. Anyway. Oh, sorry, you're phrasing. I had to.
It's tripping cool.
Yeah, no. That teacher's a fucking...
Yeah, fuck that guy and fuck that
asshole.
School in particular.
Yeah, that whole I think it's in part 5. It might be in part 4, but whenever her little, like, her and her dad go in to talk.
Oh, the meeting, that was the beginning of part 5.
Yeah, fuck. I hated that.
Because that's the thing that leads into the confrontation with Long again.
Yeah, and I was just...
And then she tears out his eyes.
Holy shit, yeah. So... big fight happens. They're able to, like, incapacitate this big dude, which Lung, for example, like, he is, like, I really dug his power. He, like, transforms into a dragon, like, throughout the duration of a fight.
Yeah, Lung, like, just gets progressively better as he continues into a fight.
Yeah, and he, like, basically morphs into a dragon. They were able to incapacitate him, and Taylor's like, well, we gotta stop him somehow. So she just grabs a knife and fucking scoops out his eyes. And I went, Jesus!
He's got hardcore.
And she's like, I'm gonna be a superhero!
Yeah, the fact that she's still adamant about, like, she's like, I'm gonna betray all my friends, and maybe it'll be fine. Maybe it won't hurt that bad. And
yeah.
Just like...
Bitch, go to a therapist.
Yeah, which is funny because I know you haven't read part 6 and this doesn't really spoil, but she, like, thinks on, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be leaving here in, like, 2 weeks, a month max. I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's like you've made zero headway, because the whole delusion is she's like, all right, I've got all the info I need. I've got all of their faces of the Undersiders. I just need to know their boss, which...
Mysterious Shadow Man.
Yeah, pays from the shadows, gives them...
I know who it is.
Oh, well, good for you. So...
Brew, too.
So Taylor doesn't know...
It's actually one of bitch's dogs.
Who the boss is, and she's like, I gotta figure out who this is, and then they'll let me be a hero. That would be a sick twist.
There's something going on with her dad. I don't know what it is. I feel like there's gonna be some twist with her dad, or like her mom still alive. There's gonna be something.
It just turns out that like
she's like a soul reaper.
No, there is something going on because the first part's interlude was about Scion, right?
It was describing like Scion, who was like the first superhero.
Yeah, like he's like this like golden man. The golden man. He like
flies that's right.
Yeah, no, I swear he said something like brother or something like that.
I don't know. I have to read the first.
I'll have to reread that.
Golden Man's an interesting character,
which is funny because like I kind of sort of know things about him.
I'll stop spoiling.
This happened literally like 6 years ago when some friends introduced me to this whole series, but I didn't read it. We played a D&D campaign.
You played a worm D&D campaign?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I kind of broke the world. I like tore giant holes through space and time.
Is that at 4 Pillars?
No.
Okay, I remember because I also joined one that might have been a worm game.
No.
It was a one-off though.
No, this was with people that you knew but didn't really interact with.
Richard Nixon.
Yeah, good old Richard Nixon. But no, so like it's funny like seeing things pop up. Like I forget when they mention it, but they mentioned the toy box, and I'm like, ooh, I know about the toy box. The toy box is crazy. And there's a couple of other things that I'm like, oh, okay, I'm curious to see how these things play in.
But this isn't a spoiler, but they talk a little bit about the bird cage later on. And,
they mentioned the bird cage.
But they talk more about the bird cage in 6 and 7.
What the bird cage is.
They've definitely talked about it.
But I know what the One Piece bird cage is.
The bird cage, they've talked about it a couple times. The bird cage is where they send, like, parahumans.
Oh, yeah.
It's like ginormous parahuman Azkaban.
Yeah, they talk about the one guy who is like, no one's escaped from the prison, but this one guy escaped on the way to the prison.
Like multiple times. What was that again?
I don't remember who they said it was.
Was it one of the AVP?
It might have been.
It might have been only Lee.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was.
Which is like kind of cool because I kind of dig that concept of like it's the way they describe the birdcage, at least the point where I read, is that there isn't really a whole lot of like security, quote unquote. Like the vibe I got wasn't that there was guards constantly patrolling. It was just like, this is going to be incredibly impossible to get out. If you can get out, kind of good job, dude. We'll put you back in there somehow. We did it before. But if you can manage to get out, kudos. Which I was like, that's interesting. It's a very different take.
I don't know if that would be the best move logically in a world full of supervillains.
I don't know if that's the best move, but it's interesting.
You guys want me to tell you what the birdcage looks like?
No.
Does it look like a literal birdcage?
Okay, I'm going to say one thing.
Okay.
It's in a hollowed out mountain.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh. That's cool.
Yeah, well. Another one of the big hanging threads at this point is secret killer. Who's it gonna be?
I kind of forgot that was
I also know that.
I don't, but I'm leaning towards one of two characters because I think one of them doesn't have enough build up. I'm talking about Alec. I don't think Alec has enough build up at this point.
I don't think so. Like my money is on Tattletale because
because it seems like they're building up towards it being Brian / Gru, but I feel like that's just too obvious.
Yeah. So how did she? Oh no, Armsmaster told her that. So there was a secret meeting because the whole thing that got everything jump started was Taylor was like out and about, like kind of doing her own patrol thing, and she ran into Lung and his crew, and she like nearly killed Lung, who is like the giant high-ranking.
He's the dragon guy.
Yeah,
his dick fell off.
His dick fell off. Yeah. But she needed some help, and that's when the Undersiders kind of showed up. Holy shit! I can't believe that's what Gru looks like. Fucking. And Armsmaster kind of like saves the day, and she like calls in a favor from Armsmaster, and she's like, I can give information, and Armsmaster is like, you are a child, calm yourself. Why but before the two kind of leave and go their separate ways, Armsmaster says, just so you know, there are 2 killers in that group. And at this point, we know one of them was Bitch or Rachel.
It was confirmed, yeah.
Yeah, basically
confirmed kill.
Confirmed kill. So now it's someone else's. I'm fairly sure it's Lisa. She's the only one with the amount of like screen time going on.
Yeah, it'd be the less obvious of the 2 choices.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it seems like it could be like I wouldn't be surprised if it was related to her trigger event.
Yeah,
because everyone has a trigger event to get their powers in this.
For the most part.
Yeah.
They get triggered.
It's
spoilers. Don't show that.
It's, what's it called? Like... So
why are you looking up pictures of Gru as well? God damn it! You two are looking at pictures of Gru. The producer is looking at spoilers for a series he hasn't read. I wouldn't be surprised if he's also looking at pictures of Gru from Despicable Me. Oh.
Hey, calm down. Him pointing his finger.
So trigger events are very traumatic events that basically unlock their power. Interesting story about that. So in that D&D one-shot, I made my own character's trigger event. And then reading through Taylor's, I'm like, oh, this is so tame in comparison to what I wrote for my character. Because I was like fucking edgy 16-year-old. I wrote a really edgy, disgusting story of how like this homeless man broke into my parents' home and like killed my parents, and then like I killed the homeless man. Why? Why does that exist? That's scary.
It's almost as nice as your Lagos.
I don't know where that is. I went to
Pierre took it home with him.
Did you? It's hiding.
It's going to be out there. Yeah, no, but we've read through 2 people's trigger events, Taylor's and Brian's. And just really funny reading through those and going, oh, these are so tame. Oh, I did not need to go super edgy, because the way it was described to me is like the most traumatic experience in your life, and I went fucking full send on it.
I mean, those both were the most traumatic experiences in their life.
But just like, in terms of like an objective scale, like, I feel like...
Okay. Producer, I'm going to need you to stop.
Producer, I'm going to need you to go back to producing. Making the show better. I agree. Like, in context with those characters, those were the worst days of their life. But I'm like, reading through, I'm like, oh, I made mine so much worse than it possibly needed to be. Because a fucking edgy 16-year-old, what are you going to write?
Classic.
Yeah.
Aragon.
I should have just... My backstory should have just been the book Aragon. Like, you know my backstory?
Entire inheritance cycle.
You know Aragon? That's my backstory.
The very beginning of Aragon, when it's John Malkovich, he's like, I'm so lost without my stone. Then he just has his trigger event.
Without my stone.
Right there. But anyway.
Bring me the egg.
No,
I'm right here.
Bring me the boy.
Children of 2 capes. So if they've got like, they're like 2nd generation cape, their trigger events are like, it's kind of like turning Super Saiyan
like,
over the
oh no, I drank some spoiled milk.
Yeah, like one of the more like privileged superheroes in this world, Glory Girl.
Classic.
Yeah, apparently she got her trigger event when she got like a foul in a child's basketball game.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty traumatic.
It's pretty traumatic. But she also comes from, like you said, the lineage of capes, so.
Yeah. And, like, lawyers and...
Mm-hmm. Which is interesting. Like, that, there are a lot of, like, really solid building blocks being placed. I thought you were about to say something, but you were just going to go Super Saiyan on me. You were going to turn into Gru. Can you just, like, motion track a picture of Gru in your face, like, right now?
What would you do if, like, London just, like, went on a nightly walk and got bit by a guy who looked like Gru and just slowly, over the course of a month, just turned into
Thomas,
Gru?
you need to stop saying that. We need to go film this right now. This is gold.
The where Gru.
Also, wrong. We're talking about books. It's written word, not about movies, you pleb.
I mean, movies start off as a book.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is.
That's not true.
Screenplays are books. Fight me.
What if you don't have a screenplay?
Then...
The DDoSer did not have a screenplay.
I wrote down at least 10 words for the DDoSer. That counts.
It's not a book, though.
It's a screenplay. You could... I don't know. There are children's books that I've seen with like 5 words in them.
You are a big dumb.
Go fuck yourself.
You guys ever remember those books where it's like the duck running for mayor?
No, but I know of a cool Flash animation about a duck going to a lemonade stand saying, "Hey,
Waddle,
gotta eat grapes." So like I've right now I am very much like invested and interested to see where it's going.
It took me a bit to get in, but now I'm in. I'll probably be reading this in a decent amount. I've been reading it a lot. I can get through a whole like arc usually if I have an hour lunch at work. Mm-hmm. So I've just kind of been doing that. I'll probably continue doing that.
I've been trying to like whenever I go and do my vape breaks, sick vape bro. So like just read like a chapter effectively because the chapters have gotten pretty long and I can usually clear them in like 10-ish minutes.
Yeah,
and it's just like just slowly working my way through. I'll probably I don't know if I'll pick it again. Maybe. I don't know. But
regardless,
I need to know whether I should read it now or
regardless, even I don't know if this will be picked again because I'll probably be done with it.
I might also be done.
But I'll have more. There will be more videos on this at the very least.
Yeah, definitely. Even if it's just like
even if it's just me flossing talking about it,
or like me in London going, "Oh, dude, we got to catch up on Worm right now." I know we're not reading Worm, but we got to catch up. See what's going on. And Thomas would be like, "Oh God, the spoilies."
Thomas will be like, "I'm Gru."
Ooh, I'm Gru.
But yeah, I think it gets progressively better. It's still been getting better so far with 6 and 7. I'm really excited to see where it goes, and most likely I'll be reading Ward afterwards because that's a sequel series that came out.
Yeah.
And that just finished end of last year, I think.
Yeah, it was recent.
November.
It was recent
that it finished, and that ran for like 3 years.
Yeah,
seems to be his average.
Average Gru.
Oh, but yeah.
You guys got anything else you want to talk about?
There's this cape that they shoot light blasts at people that affect their emotions.
Wasn't that Kidwin?
No, Kidwin is the one with the
big gun.
Kidwin had the big gun and the skateboard. That might have been Gallant.
I think you're right.
Yeah. Maybe.
Producer, can you look up fucking Gallant on the wiki?
But that was an interesting. I like a lot of the power sets. Some of the Tinkers seem a little weird.
I'm excited to see more Tinkers.
I want to see more of Leet and Oob.
Yeah, I was just about to bring them up because
it feels great.
At first, I was a little like, this is like video game supervillains, but
they're supposed to be.
That would totally happen if we lived in modern day.
Producer, what's Gallant's powers?
Oh, is Gallant the? Oh, you might not have seen Gallant yet. Whoops, never mind.
Anyway.
I remember who Gallant is now.
Okay.
What's it called? What was I saying? What was I in the middle of talking about?
We're talking about Gru.
No, I wasn't. It makes sense. Like, if we lived in modern day,
If we lived in a society
that
We
had
already do live in a
superhuman
society.
abilities, there would definitely be supervillains out there who are like, "Yo, we're gonna do video
We're
game
fucking
inspired
shitty."
super crimes."
Oh yeah, but like I kind of like that their whole bit was like they're just shitty like low-ranking fucking villains that were just there to be hired as a distraction for something much larger.
Yeah. No, I thought that was pretty good.
I
hope to see them again in the future.
if those are the only recurring gag characters and they're always different,
it's like
characters
the
each
Vulcan
time,
skull of.
There we go.
I'll be happy with that because I thought they were delightful and charming.
But yeah.
No, I like the building blocks. All the powers have been really good and unique. Like seeing creative interactions and workarounds for personal blocks. It's that good shit that I like.
Yeah. In general, I like superhero stories quite a bit. And this was pretty good. I think that you should read this if you have a lot of time on your hands.
Yeah.
But it's a big endeavor. I understand if you don't want to get into it because it's kind of something that you'll want to see through once you get invested.
Yeah. There was,
or maybe not. Thomas might just drop it.
There's no fucking worms.
Not yet. I know there's going to be worms. There's got to be worms.
50 chapters in and there's no worms.
Well,
Actually,
yeah, but it's 50 out of 300.
I think I yes, kind of there are worms. I'll say that much.
I mean,
brain worms.
Oh.
We represent the worm.
If I'm remembering,
and society is the apple.
And I eat the apple and see half a worm in my apple. That's what happens when you cross Gru from Despicable Me. Can you send that to me later? I'm going to need that one for later. That one too.
What is it? A picture of Gru's feet?
Okay, so I would recommend this.
I would very much recommend this. If you like the MCU, this is kind of better MCU already.
Thomas?
Despite the lack of worms, I'd recommend it probably. If superheroes are your thing.
Yeah. If you don't like superheroes, don't read them.
If you don't like superheroes, then why the fuck are you living?
I mean, I get it. They're kind of lame. Just kidding. As I look over at my superhero stuff.
Oh. Alright. Thomas, it's your pick. What are we reading for the next episode of Read Weens?
First 500 chapters.
Come aboard. Bring along all your hopes and dreams. Because together we will find the great things that we're looking for. Because we're setting sail with One Piece. The first 217 chapters that comprises of the first two sagas. So aka the shit where they're in the East Blue and the shit where they fight Crocodile.
What?
I'm already 2 chapters in, and it is okay. Decent.
I'm gonna trudge through it only listening to the pirate rap.
Yeah, yo.
Oh,
Dreaming.
oh, we gotta save it for the next episode.
Yeah, okay.
All
Why
right.
don't you just do it on each episode?
We're out the bit.
Yeah. 2. Only the
It's a
one.
month. It's a month from now.
Yeah, we gave him a sneak peek with the yayo.
Yeah.
Yayo, I'm a pirate. I know how to rap, and when you know I take a nap.
All right.
Yeah, so...
I'm Luffy. My dick is really poofy. I like to stretch my arms a lot.
There you go.
Did you know that I'm made of snot?
He's not, but...
He's not. Yo, my name is Zolo. Some call me Zorro. Do you know that I got a fedora?
You were saying, Thomas.
Chapters 1 to 217, and if you want an added bonus, it's not required, but I'm going to be rewatching movie 4. It's not relevant at all.
It's not
relevant
so
at all.
Why are you even saying?
Because it's a good One Piece movie. It's pretty decent.
And I'm going to be watching every One Piece movie. That's not true. Maybe. I don't know.
There's one by Mamoru Hosoda.
He watched that 2 days ago.
Is that one good?
Okay, here's what I will say about it. I don't know if I said this on the podcast. I might have.
Yes, you did. Just go watch the podcast.
Here, I don't have to say it here, but I can tell you after we stop.
No, Joe has to watch the podcast.
Oh, God.
Okay, bye, everyone. We'll see you in a month.